The Evolution of the MCU, Episode 17.
Back on Earth 616, the war was reaching its climax. Remember when Steve rescued Bucky and over 400 prisoners from that Hydra base? Well, some of those soldiers were so impressed by what Steve did that they volunteered to follow him into battle. They became the Howling Commandos, an elite unit that answered directly to Steve, and together they had been pushing through enemy lines for months. They had become the tip of the Allied spear, taking on missions that no regular unit could handle. And through it all, Bucky was at Steve's side, just like he had always been. In early 1945, intelligence reported that Arnim Zola, Hydra's lead scientist and the man responsible for many of their advanced weapons, was being transported by train through the Austrian Alps. Capturing Zola could give the Allies crucial information about Hydra's operations, maybe even the location of the Red Skull himself. Steve and Bucky led the assault, managing to get onto the speeding train as it wound through the mountains. The fighting was intense, with Hydra soldiers around every corner and Zola's personal guards throwing everything they had at them. They succeeded and captured Zola, but the cost was unimaginable. During the battle, a blast tore a hole in the side of the train car, and Bucky was thrown toward the gap, barely catching hold of a damaged railing. The train was moving at full speed, the wind screaming through the opening, the ground hundreds of feet below. Steve reached for him and Bucky reached back, their hands just inches apart. Then, the railing gave way. Steve watched his best friend, his brother, fall from the train into the frozen ravine below. There was no parachute and no last-minute save, just Bucky getting smaller and smaller, disappearing into the white void. Steve's scream was swallowed by the wind. They never found a body because the ravine was too deep and the snow too heavy. James Buchanan Barnes was declared lost in action. The kid from Brooklyn who had always had Steve's back, who had pulled him out of alley fights and followed him into war, was gone. Except he wasn't. What Steve didn't know, what no one would know for decades, was that Bucky survived the fall. Remember when Bucky was captured at that Hydra facility before Steve rescued him? During that time, Zola had performed experiments on him, injecting him with a version of the super soldier serum. It wasn't as powerful as what Steve received, but it was enough. Enough to survive a fall that would have ended anyone else. His body was broken but not gone when Soviet operatives found him in the ice at the bottom of that ravine. They took him back to Russia and saw his potential, a super soldier, enhanced and nearly unbreakable. Over the following years, they rebuilt him. His damaged arm was replaced with a prosthetic made of metal, giving him strength that matched his enhanced body. But the real work was done on his mind. They wiped it clean using techniques that erased memory and identity, and they programmed him with skills, missions, and absolute obedience. Whenever he started to remember who he was, they would wipe him again. The Winter Soldier was born, a ghost, a weapon that intelligence agencies would whisper about for 70 years. He carried out missions across the globe,